Welcome, everyone, to today's deep dive. If you have been anywhere near social media, sports forums, or the international tennis community's radar over the past few days, you have undoubtedly seen a headline that completely broke the internet. It was bold, it was capitalized, and it demanded your attention. The headline read, "Whole Chicago was wowed. Alexandra Eala wins Tag Face of the Year, Bronze Champion." Now, when a headline like that drops, it sends an absolute shockwave through the digital landscape. It gets shared across Facebook groups, it trends on X, and it sparks a million conversations in WhatsApp chats, from the bustling streets of Manila to the sports marketing boardrooms in the United States. And as your host, it is my job to sit down, look at the noise, and separate the undeniable facts from the sensationalized fiction. We live in an era where the line between clickbait and reality is often blurred, where sports achievements are sometimes wrapped in hyperbole to get your click. But here is the incredible truth about Alexandra Eala. She does not need exaggerated headlines. The reality of her journey, her actual hardware, and her undeniable rise in the global tennis rankings are far more spectacular than any viral title could ever capture. Today, we are going to unpack every single element of this viral sensation. We are going to explore why the city of Chicago is suddenly being linked to a 20-year-old tennis phenom from Quezon City. We are going to delve into the reality of the bronze champion moniker, tracing it back to her grueling, historic battles on the international stage. And we are going to look at the business of sports, what it means to be the face of a brand, the face of a generation, and the face of Philippine tennis. It is completely understandable why fans get so emotional and hyped when they see these massive proclamations. For decades, the Philippines have been waiting for a homegrown talent to shatter the glass ceiling of professional tennis. So, when a title screams that the whole of Chicago is wowed, the instinct is to celebrate immediately. I validate that excitement. It is a beautiful thing to see a nation rally behind its prodigy. However, as consumers of sports media, we also have to ground ourselves in reality. We have to correct the misconceptions gently, not to diminish the athlete, but to honor their actual verified achievements. The truth is, there is no official professional tennis tournament in Chicago where a Tag Face of the Year or Bronze Champion trophy was just hoisted. What we are actually looking at is a fascinating collision of sports marketing rumors, past international glories, and the undeniable truth that Alex Eala has evolved into a global powerhouse. As of early 2026, she has achieved a career-high ranking of world number 29. She has taken down Grand Slam champions. She is securing monumental endorsement deals that have the sports business world buzzing, which is exactly where that Chicago connection comes into play. So, sit back, get comfortable, and prepare for a comprehensive breakdown. We are going to look at the tactical evolution of her left-handed game, the mental fortitude forged at the Rafa Nadal Academy, the harsh realities of transitioning from the junior circuit to the WTA Tour, and the immense pressure of carrying the hopes of over 100 million people on her shoulders. This is the real story of Alexandra Eala. This is the truth behind the viral headline. Let us dive in. To truly understand why this specific headline caught fire, we have to break it down into its three core components: Chicago, the Tag Face of the Year, and the Bronze Champion. Let us start with Chicago. Why would a Filipina tennis player who trains in Spain and competes globally suddenly have the Windy City mesmerized? In the sports business world, Chicago is a massive hub. It is home to some of the largest sports marketing agencies and corporate giants in the world, including Gatorade. Recently, the internet has been ablaze with rumors and viral videos suggesting that Eala landed in Chicago to finalize a staggering $30 million endorsement deal with global beverage brands. While the financial specifics of sports contracts are rarely publicized immediately and should be taken with a grain of salt, the underlying reality is that Eala's marketability has skyrocketed. She is no longer just a regional star. She is a global commodity. Brands are recognizing that partnering with Eala is the ultimate key to unlocking the massive, fiercely loyal Southeast Asian market. When the headline says Chicago was wowed, it is metaphorically speaking to the American corporate sports landscape waking up to the commercial juggernaut that is Alexandra Eala. Next, we look at the phrase Tag Face of the Year. In the digital age, YouTube channels often combine brand names and prestigious-sounding awards to generate clicks. While there might not be a literal trophy called the Tag Face of the Year sitting on her mantle, the sentiment is incredibly accurate. Alex Eala is the undisputed face of Philippine sports. She has been a brand ambassador for Globe Telecom since she was 8 years old. She is backed by Nike, Babolat, the Bank of the Philippine Islands, and Milo. In 2021, Tatler Asia named her one of the most influential people in the region. She is the face of a new generation of athletes who are proving that Southeast Asia can produce elite, world-class talent in sports traditionally dominated by Europe and North America. Finally, we arrive at the bronze champion. This is where the clickbait actually intersects with hard, undeniable facts. Alexandra Eala is literally a bronze champion, several times over, when representing her country. The pressure on Eala is immense, yet she consistently delivers. At the 2021 Southeast Asian Games in Vietnam, she fought through brutal conditions and intense regional rivalry to secure 3 bronze medals, in singles, mixed doubles, and the team event. But she did not stop there. At the 2022 Asian Games in Hangzhou, she faced the absolute best players the continent had to offer and brought home 2 more historic bronze medals for the Philippines, one in singles and one in mixed doubles. So, while the headline might have jumbled the timeline and the location, the title of bronze champion is a crown she earned with sweat, tears, and relentless grit on the international stage. The crucible of Mallorca, forging a champion. To understand the player wow in the world today, we have to look at the foundation built in her early years. Born in Quezon City to Michael and Riza Eala, her mother being a former national swimmer and SEA Games bronze medalist herself. Athleticism runs in Alexandra's veins. But raw talent is only potential until it's refined by discipline. At just 13 years old, Eala made a life-altering decision. She packed her bags, left the comfort of her home country, and relocated to Manacor, Spain, to enroll at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Imagine the psychological weight of that transition. You are a young teenager, halfway across the world, immersed in a grueling, high-performance environment where the expectation is nothing short of excellence. The academy became her crucible. It was here that she learned to adopt the ethos of its founder, Rafael Nadal. Nadal is famous for his relentless intensity, his refusal to concede a single point, and his tactical brilliance on the court. Eala absorbed these lessons like a sponge. The academy did not just teach her how to hit a better forehand. It taught her how to suffer on the court, how to endure the physical pain of a 3-hour marathon match, and how to maintain mental clarity when the lungs are burning and the legs feel like lead. This European foundation gave her a distinct advantage over her peers. She was exposed to different styles of play, specifically the heavy, grinding clay court tennis that demands extreme patience and point construction. The validation of this brutal training came in September 2022. At the U.S. Open, Eala became the first Filipino to ever win a junior Grand Slam singles title. She did it without dropping a single set the entire tournament. After the victory, Rafael Nadal himself took to social media to publicly congratulate her, telling her to keep up the hard work. That moment was a paradigm shift. It proved to Eala and to the world that a player from the Philippines could not just compete at the highest level, but completely dominate it. However, winning a junior Grand Slam is not a guarantee of professional success. The history of tennis is littered with the names of junior prodigies who could not survive the meat grinder of the WTA Tour. The transition from juniors to the professional circuit is arguably the most difficult leap in sports. You go from playing girls your own age to facing grown women, veterans who are fighting for their livelihoods, who possess physical strength and tactical cunning that a teenager simply has not developed yet. From 2020 to 2024, Eala endured the reality of this transition. She grinded away on the ITF women's circuit, far away from the glamorous stadiums and massive crowds. She played in small towns in Tunisia and Spain, fighting for ranking points and meager prize money. She won her first professional title at a W15 event in Manacor in 2021, and slowly but surely added more titles to her resume. This period was characterized by significant growing pains. Eala had to confront her physical limitations and refine her game. Former top 10 player Andrea Petkovic provided a brilliant analysis of Eala during this phase. Petkovic noted that while Eala's return game was world-class and her baseline striking was elite, her serve was a glaring vulnerability. Against mid-tier players, she could get away with it. But when she faced heavy hitters like Aryna Sabalenka or Coco Gauff, her inconsistent first serve percentage and lack of serving power left her second serve incredibly exposed. Eala had weeks where the double faults piled up, leading to early tournament exits and moments of deep frustration. But this is where the Nadal Academy mindset kicked in. Eala did not panic. She understood that development is not linear. She worked relentlessly on her service motion, tweaking the mechanics to generate more spin and placement, compensating for the raw power she lacked compared to the 6-foot-tall giants on the tour. All that unseen labor in the shadows finally exploded into the light in 2025 and early 2026. If the Junior U.S. Open was her introduction, the 2025 season was her arrival. She transitioned from the grueling qualifying rounds of Grand Slam straight into the main draws. At the 2025 U.S. Open, she defeated Clara Tauson in the first round, becoming the first Filipino in the Open era to win a main draw match at a major. But the true watershed moment came at the Guadalajara Open, a WTA 125 event. Seeded second, she navigated a treacherous draw and defeated Punna Udvardy in the final. She lifted her first WTA-level trophy. She was no longer just a promising prospect. She was a tour-level champion. By the end of 2025, she had cracked the top 50 in the world rankings. Then came the 2026 season. She started with a bang at the Auckland Open, reaching the semifinals. But it was the American hard-court swing that truly cemented her status. At the Miami Open, she achieved the unthinkable. As a 19-year-old, she stepped onto the court against Madison Keys, a former Grand Slam finalist and one of the heaviest ball strikers in the history of the women's game. Eala absorbed the pace, redirected the power, and executed a tactical masterclass to secure the victory. She became the first Filipino woman to defeat a top 10 ranked opponent. She followed that up by battling through a brutal 3-set marathon against veteran Laura Siegemund, a match that tested every ounce of her mental resolve. In her post-match interview, an emotional Eala confessed that every match on the tour felt like life and death. She spoke about the tension, the nerves, and the overwhelming realization that she was finally operating a level where every single opponent is a relentless fighter. By March 16, 2026, the computer officially verified what everyone was witnessing. Alexandra Eala had reached world number 29. To appreciate why she is winning at this level, we have to look closely at her tactical execution. Alexandra Eala plays left-handed, utilizing a two-handed backhand. Being a lefty in tennis immediately provides a natural tactical advantage. The spin off her racket spins away from the traditional right-handed player's backhand, forcing them into awkward defensive positions. She is a prototypical aggressive baseliner. She does not look to rush the net indiscriminately, but rather dictates play from the back of the court. Her forehand is her most dangerous weapon. She generates immense topspin, pushing her opponents deep behind the baseline, creating short angles that she ruthlessly exploits. However, her true superpower is her return of serve. Eala has an uncanny ability to read the toss of her opponents, cut off the angles, and take the ball incredibly early. When facing massive servers, she uses her own pace against them, hitting deep, penetrating returns that immediately neutralize the server's advantage. While her own serve remains a work in progress, her ability to break her opponent's serve consistently keeps her in every single match. She thrives on hard courts, where the consistent bounce allows her to time her aggressive ground strokes perfectly. Beyond the forehands and the rankings, there's the human element. At just 20 years old, Eala is carrying the weight of a tennis crazed, yet historically underrepresented nation. Every time she steps onto a court, whether it is in Melbourne, Paris, New York, or Miami, she is greeted by legions of Filipino fans waving the national flag. She has spoken openly about the surprise and the immense gratitude she feels seeing the massive lines outside her practice courts. But with that adulation comes immense pressure. She has to balance the demanding life of a professional athlete with the reality of being a 20-year-old young woman navigating unprecedented fame. She has to manage her time meticulously, ensuring she still finds moments of joy and normalcy amidst the grueling travel schedules and media obligations. She handles this with remarkable grace, remaining grounded, humble, and fiercely dedicated to her craft. As we bring this deep dive to a close, we must return to the headline that started it all. Whole Chicago is wowed. Alexandra Eala wins Tag Face of the Year, bronze champion. We now know the truth. We know that the headline is a sensationalized mosaic, a clickbait masterpiece designed to grab your attention by mixing rumors of massive American endorsement deals with her historic, very real bronze medals from the Asian and SEA Games. We know that there was no singular tournament in Chicago that handed her these fictional titles. But more importantly, we know that the clickbait completely fails to capture the true magnitude of what Alexandra Eala is actually accomplishing. The reality is that she does not need a fabricated title to be recognized as a champion. The reality is world number 29. The reality is defeating Grand Slam champions. The reality is breaking centuries-old barriers for Philippine tennis and becoming a legitimate, undeniable force on the global WTA Tour. She is a young woman who left home at 13 to chase an impossible dream. She survived the grueling Spanish clay courts. She endured the lonely, unforgiving ITF circuit, and she rebuilt her game to compete with the titans of the sport. She is the face of a new era, proving that with enough grit, discipline, and heart, the ceiling can be shattered. So the next time you see a wild, capitalized headline promising shocking news, take a breath. Look past the hyperbole. Because in the case of Alexandra Eala, the verifiable truth, the actual blood, sweat, and rankings are vastly more inspiring than any clickbait could ever be. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. Stay critical, stay passionate, and keep watching the courts because the era of Alex Eala is only just beginning.